True leadership for me involves working in partnership with different stakeholders, and also to be credible as a leader. I think you have to be a good role model, you have to engage with your stakeholders, but the key thing for me is transparency. I think transparency really does support true leadership.
I think leadership is about setting the vision and knowing the direction to take. To enable this vision to be achieved by having the right environment, values and mindset which are shared by all.
To me, leadership is about the ability to inspire others to follow you. So thinking about the applied learning and reflection that I undertook during the EGA, my top trait of a good leader would be someone who lives the values that they expect of others.
To me, it means creating a vision, sometimes in collaboration with others, making that happen. It's about removing barriers and taking action. In the NHS, it's often about aligning staff, patients and other stakeholders in a common cause.
So leadership for me is about trust. It's about trusting your teams to do a really good job, but it's also about the trust that they have in you and trust that you've got their back regardless of what happens.
Leadership to me is about having trust and confidence in a person to take an organisation or team in the right direction. It can be applied in positive and challenging situations, but the objective is always for stakeholders to have faith and belief in what you're trying to achieve.
Definitely time. I think when you apply for the EGA and you're sort of given an estimate of how much time per week is needed to complete the course, please pay attention to it because you really do need to be organised from the start, and organisation is the key to success with the EGA really.
When I applied for the EGA program, I was not after another academic qualification. I therefore found some of the academic aspects of the EGA frustrating. Also, juggling the demands of the program with work and personal life was challenging, and at times it was difficult to get the balance right.
Coming from an academic background, I found that the requirements of the EGA could be vague at times, especially for a non-clinician who's removed from direct patient contact. It wasn't always clear what was expected of you in assignments, and sometimes I found that I had inadvertently missed aspects of the questions because I'd used too narrow or too wide a focus. You always feel like you could be doing more, but when faced with all the other demands on my time, I was really strict with myself about setting timetables and sticking to them in order to protect time for my most precious use of it, which is sleep.
I joined the programme midway through, so integrating I thought was always going to be a challenge, but actually that wasn't a challenge. It was a really lovely experience. But what has been challenging is juggling work-life balance and time management. And I think just maintaining the belief that it is possible to complete this.
So there's something obvious about time. It's a lot of time and a lot of commitment, but one of the most challenging things of all is about holding yourself to account for the things that you said you would do. So one of the examples is we did an exercise on having difficult conversations. I had to hold myself to account to go back to work and have that difficult conversation. And if you don't do that, you don't hold yourself to account for the things that you've learned, there's no point in doing the course at all.
Having limited time to undertake the programme alongside work and family life is the obvious answer to that question, and it has been a big challenge. But I'd also say that the application of the theoretical concepts as part of the programme has been a challenge too, particularly the requirements of the dissertation. It takes a huge amount of effort and time to source the right materials, and there's always a fear that you're going in the wrong direction when you're talking about theory. But there is a sense of relief and achievement when you do well in your assignments.
Definitely meeting peers from such a wide range of organisations and doing such a wide range of roles, so things such as providers, commissioners, mental health, acute health, primary care. It's been absolutely brilliant sort of working with all these people and learning more about them.
Meeting and getting to know peers from other NHS organisations has been the most rewarding for myself, and especially those in my action learning set. I found having a safe environment to share issues and challenges and feel supported and coached to resolve these issues was valuable.
The time away from my desk to reflect and analyse alongside the application of theory was most rewarding for me. I love learning, and to be able to apply directly the learning to work was a valuable exercise.
I think the most rewarding part of the programme has been this opportunity to network with peers, making new connections, having a really supportive action learning centre tutor, actually finishing each assignment as well on time has really been deeply gratifying.
So for me, doing the team journey was really rewarding. I did the team journey again with a new team last year and basically ran the module all over again. It was a really great experience and it allowed the team to bond. We did team rules and team behaviours and figured out what our objectives were, what we wanted to achieve as a team, and that's brought us really close as a result.
Creating close links with peers throughout the programme that will hopefully last a long time has been a big reward as part of the programme. Our ALS and tutor groups are two aspects of that, and for me personally I'm very grateful that my ALS group is full of really engaged and approachable members, so it's been a pleasure to meet up with everyone every month or so and tackle some real challenging discussions and debates in secure surroundings.
I really started getting into the programme when we started looking at team functioning, particularly the Anderson team journey stuff. I found it really helped with the teams that I worked with in sort of the different services that I cover. I also really liked West's work on engagement to improve patient care, and this sort of really resonated with me, and I can already see the impact and the positive differences in care delivery from focusing on these areas.
I must say I enjoyed Module 2 and 5 most. Module 2 was about team working, especially how leadership is vital for effective team working. Module 5 was about leadership as a key ingredient in promoting person-centered care, and this stood out most for me.
The particular feature that I liked the best was the Module 2 on the team. It came at a really opportune time for me and for my team, and I was able to follow those team tasks through in a logical manner, which led to a positive outcome for both myself and my team, and therefore for the organisation.
Well, the action learning sets have been a very positive experience for me. We enjoyed using the various tools to coach others and learning more about myself and my work environment. Most significantly, it's impacted on how I conduct myself at work. It's made me more mindful of how I'm perceived by my colleagues.
So one of the real standout things for me was around the staff engagement and West's work. Whilst it's really obvious that the staff engagement leads to better patient care, seeing the evidence in such a stark way has really changed my perspective. It's made me think about some of the unintended consequences of the outcomes that we commission, and made me think much more about some of the processes that we drive through the commissioning that my organisation does.
At first I perceived the work-based assignments as a bit of an unnecessary chore, but as the programme progressed, particularly around modules 3 to 6, those work-based assignments were actually really useful both for me personally but also within my job. There have been a couple of actions that I've implemented within the workplace as a result of those work-based assignments.
I've learned to organise myself more, but I've also learned that I've got more capacity to adapt and be flexible as a leader than I thought I had. Certainly my self-awareness has increased, but also my ability to be able to adapt myself to the needs of others and look at others' preferences and styles and how I as a leader need to adapt to work with them successfully. That's been really, really important. I think I've recognised my skills more as well, and that I'm able to see the bigger picture more than I thought I was.
I am more aware of my emotions and how my actions can impact those around me. Aware of what it is like to be on the receiving end of me. This has helped me especially in handling and having difficult conversations. Prior to this course, I shied away from handling conflict. EGA has helped me develop in this area and made me realize how having the right tone or conversations can reverse situations.
I can often have many plates spinning at the same time, so I'm constantly running from one to another to avert disaster. The EGA has reminded me to take a little time to analyse which plates can be left to drop, which can be delegated and which should be prioritised, and which I need to absolutely keep spinning for my own resilience. The dissertation period was a good example of this. I'd set myself deadlines and list priorities, but if the tasks didn't make the priority list, they didn't get done. It was important to be realistic about this up front, and then to have the tenacity to get the job done.
I've learned that I'm perhaps not as bad at this leadership stuff as I first thought I was, and that I've actually achieved a lot in my career during the course of the programme, and I hope to continue to do that.
One of the main things I've learned that it's okay to not know all the answers. I always thought that leadership was about knowing more and being the person who's the most knowledgeable in the room, and I've realised that it's actually not about that. It doesn't hurt, obviously, to have a really good knowledge base, but it's much more about the skills that you develop in others, your behaviours and your nurturing, and those are the things that I've really enjoyed developing within myself as a leader.
For Myers-Briggs enthusiasts, I'm a solid introvert, and INTJ to be exact. I like my own space and time to develop my own ideas. But I now know that my overall desire to take a step back isn't necessarily a good thing. That is who I am, but being a leader is about adapting to different situations, and some of those situations might not always be the most comfortable for you as a person. I think I've really developed that part of myself through the programme. There's always time for reflection later on, but the most important thing is making the most of a situation when it's occurring.
Slightly controversially, I think, when I started the EGA programme, and we were all in a room together, and I think there was about 48 or 50 of us all in a room together, it felt to me as if some people had applied for the programme without wanting to change anything about themselves or how they did it, and just wanted to tell everybody else how good their organisation or good their skills were. And that did put me off a bit in the beginning, because I was there thinking I'm somebody who wants to learn a lot and who wants to grow and change as a leader and use this programme as a way to do so. However, very, very shortly into the course, you could see that all of the group were kind of recognising the benefits of the EGA programme and the need to kind of throw yourself into it and look at how you can learn and change. And certainly the message really is the more you put in, the more you'll get out of it.
One piece of advice I would give is having an open mind, which will help develop the right mindset.
One piece of advice: you have to really want to do this. It has the potential to take over your life for 2 years at 15 suggested hours a week. So know this in advance and be prepared to sacrifice other things in order to achieve it.
So for me, that's about commitment. It sounds like a bit of a cliche, but you get what you put into the programme. So don't do it unless you really want to do it, but if you do it, put everything you've got into it and you'll get the most out of it.
Always be yourself, but don't assume that there isn't room for you to change and grow throughout the journey. I can guarantee 100% that there will be aspects of this programme that you will hate to begin with, but that is the point of the programme. It's challenging and not designed to be comfortable and easy. If you go into it thinking, I'm not doing this or I'm not doing that, then don't bother applying. But if you accept that there is room for you to develop your leadership skills and you are open to exploring that, then this is the programme for you.
Just go for it. Do the programme, try the programme, but don't forget to allocate some time to yourself and to your significant others, and just enjoy it.